Welcome to the Peak Podcast. My name is Kyle Nelson. This is my co-host and good friend, Mr. Eli Libby. We're at it today, baby. It's the day before Thanksgiving. A lot to be thankful for, a lot of gratitude. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man.
It's been a good
Aside
day.
from you copying my outfit, which
Copying your outfit.
but excited, man. Excited for Thanksgiving. This is a show that I've really looked forward to
You
a
have
lot.
been
I know
talking
you
about
haven't.
this one for a while.
You haven't got the chance to meet him,
Yes.
but I've been telling you about him and potential, collaborations down the road. But I'm really excited what he's doing,
Cool.
and it's kind of in the vein of what we've always kind of done. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
As a reminder, the Peak Podcast, we interview business owners, consultants, coaches, and try to understand what that peak moment was when they understand that they had something that was impactful. They had this little light in them that they wanted to spark and turn into a wildfire. And typically that was their business or their coaching program. And it's really fun to learn about that in that conversation. Otherwise, we're the co-founders of Peak Fulfillment. We do self-guided solo retreats where you dive into self-reflection, self-discovery, and vision crafting in a 3-day trip with a 90-day mastermind afterwards. Without further ado, though, let's bring on Mr. Dustin Riechmann. He is the founder of 7-Figure Lead. What's going on, Dustin?
What's up, man?
Hey, gentlemen. Happy early Thanksgiving. I'm really grateful to be here with you.
You as well.
Absolutely, man. What is your? I mean, let's just kick it off. I'm just going to start a little different icebreaker.
Okay.
What is your favorite Thanksgiving dish in the mood in the season?
Man, actually, I'll say pecan pie, and
Oh.
my wife hates it because her mom, who we still, her parents, we still do Thanksgiving with. My wife has become the pie woman, and I'm the only one that wants pecan. But her mom's like, you have to make it for Dustin. So she makes an entire pecan pie for me, and so I think that's why I like it so much, because I feel like it's one of those special things that I get.
Somehow,
Dude,
after
that's
4
amazing.
plates of Thanksgiving, you're still
Yeah.
smashing a whole pie. I love it.
And I have to, or otherwise, I never hear the end of it. So.
I made it. You
I'm really excited for dinner tomorrow night.
okay? What is okay? How are you? Well, I'm going to go around the horn here.
Okay.
What do you got? Can I pause real quick? I'm sorry. I mean, it was right in the middle. Is there anything, Dustin, that your family does that's different than the traditional? That's like the other part of the icebreaker. So, favorite one, and then different part of the.
We typically find some way to gamble on Thanksgiving. So we have the latest thing is this like horse racing game. It's basically all chance. You just roll dice and you're like betting on horses, and the kids get involved. It's very wholesome. It's like illegal gambling for the whole family. So it's a lot of fun.
Wow. Okay.
Well, Uncle Dustin throw us $100 bill every time.
That's awesome. What about you, man?
Big fan of my mom's green bean dish.
Nice.
She does the fried onions and the mushroom stuff. So that's really good.
yummy.
And then, of course, just a good turkey. We've been smoking our turkeys the past few years,
that's what
and
I'm
it
gonna
has
do.
just been wonderful.
I'm doing that tomorrow. Never done it.
Yeah, something different.
Yeah. What about something different your family does? Different dish, maybe?
We're pretty traditional.
Okay.
Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, put on the Lions game, start getting everything that's been pre-cooked in the oven, and then we eat. And then we used to do Black Friday.
That's right.
Really,
you guys used to always be
late
into that.
Thursday, early Friday. Yeah, not anymore. But this year we're going to go do that. I Love Pie run.
Yeah.
As you said, it's definitely not a marathon. So
Close. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I would say stuffing, hands down. Always a stuffing guy, just hands down. And then there's we used to like football growing up, played football. That didn't last long, so that's not really a thing. But my wife is from the Midwest, and they have done this like noodle dish, and so like there's like this huge like pile of noodles, and like there's like chicken broth. I don't know if that's familiar with you at all, but they do that.
I'm in the Midwest. That's a thing. Yeah, or some kind of casserole, right? And everyone has to bring their own casserole.
Noodles.
Salad that doesn't have any lettuce in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
oh man,
awesome, Dustin. That was a good little icebreaker.
Just keep it going.
So tell us a little bit, just kind of a quick synopsis. What is 7-Figure Lead?
Yeah, so 7-Figure Leap, we help brands, mission-driven entrepreneurs build brands, 7-figure brands by telling their story. So when I walk into a room, most people are like, hey, that's Dustin. He's the podcast guesting guy. So that's sort of the marketing channel of choice. A lot of people come to us for help with, but it's in the context of the bigger picture of getting clear on their story, be able to teach, to sell. And I work with a lot of coaches and consultants who are really, really good at what they do. Maybe they don't feel like they're so good at marketing, and we try to make their marketing based on what they do. And that's really the gap in the transformation that we're able to provide a lot of these guys.
Right on, man. And is it mostly podcasts? I mean, is that the focus?
Yeah, that's the front end focus, right? So like that's sort of the hook that people come to us and say, I want help with that. And then when we get in, which I think will be really right up your alley, sell them what they want and give them what they need is sort of, the effective business model many times. And so what people want is podcast guesting and leads for their coaching business. And they get that for sure, 100%. Mm-hmm. But on day one, that's what they want. On day 90 in our core program, the feedback we always get is, man, I got so clear on my target market, my message, my strategy, and I got so connected. And so like clarity and connection, I found is actually my unique ability and the thing I'm really gifted to help people with. Podcast guesting is sort of like the current vehicle that we all drive to get to that end goal. So
love it. Clarity and connection.
Yeah. So let's back it up a little bit. Why 7-figure lead? What was the origin of that? What kind of happened in order for you to kind of think, man, I'm going to do podcast guesting?
Yeah. So a very quick recap. I was an engineer. I got involved in marriage ministry, which had me brought me online to create my first online business in 2009. That pulled me into the world of digital marketing. So by 2018, with a wife and 3 kids, I quit my full-time job. She was also a stay-at-home mom at the time, and decided to go do marketing consulting as a thing. And so I became self-employed in 2018. That led to lots of different consulting gigs and lots of cool adventures on the marketing front. And one of those, I formed a partnership with a local butcher shop, probably very, very busy here on Thanksgiving. And that founder and I really hit it off, and we ended up co-founding a physical product brand called Fire Creek Snacks. It's basically better for you meat sticks. And so for a couple of years, I led the sales and marketing for Fire Creek, and we really evolved into more of a wholesale business. And so what that means is we were selling into retailers who would sell our product to their customers, right? And so a big part of that was going to trade shows, doing sampling, and I learned this whole new world. And that was working great until, spring 2020, when I was driving to Chicago for a trade show and it was canceled. And I came home and half my clients were shut down from the pandemic, of course. And so summer 2020, I got on my very first podcast, basically to try to save this Fire Creek Snacks brand and market in a new way. And it was awesome. It worked really well. I fell in love with the whole medium and the community. And, fast forward over 4.5 years later, for the last 2.5 years, this has been my full-time focus in what is now called 7-figure lead.
Wow. That is so cool. Is the brand still around? Is the meat brand meat stick?
It is. Yeah. Okay. Fire Creek Snacks is still around. firecreeksnacks.com. People want to check it out. I'm right at the edge of exiting the partnership. I love the brand. I've just got this. Yeah. This is my full-time focus now. So, but yeah, it's been a huge part of my life for 6 years now, and love it. You guys can't see on the camera. There's a display case on the other wall. I still have the original, Fire Creek Snacks display case that we designed. So.
Did you ever go to Expo West in Anaheim? Expo West?
Never made it to the expos. I'd say the biggest trade shows we went to was the PGA Merchandise Show, which is a golf show.
Yeah,
it's insane. But yeah, I've heard a lot of cool things about Expo West, Expo East. That was that was actually in our 2020 plans, as a matter of fact, and it was canceled, so we didn't go.
Yeah. Been to it several times. It's a really good show.
It was a really cool show. You just eat snacks.
Yeah, exactly. Just walk around eating snacks.
Forcing you baby food to eat.
Oh, yeah.
As adults, you're like, oh.
Yeah, sure, I'll try it. We're just trying to get it was a different business in the past.
Baby food business.
Yeah, we were just trying to do anything we could to get a business card. And you're like, oh, baby. Sure, baby.
Give us your business card.
I'll eat it. Yeah. Oh, man. So you said clarity and connection. What is it, some of the things you do without giving away the secret sauce? When somebody comes to you trying to help them find that clarity and connection with an audience, what are some things that you do with that client?
Yeah, so one of the key things we do is the format in which we work. And so when I first got into podcast guesting, I did it on my own. And then, of course, the evolution is people start saying, hey, man, how'd you do that? Like that? How'd you get on this show? Or that was an interesting story. Can you help me? And so I started doing one-on-one coaching work for the first time, and I enjoyed it, but it never felt quite right. And I started doing small group coaching where I'd have 6 or 8 people in a virtual group, and I would teach them something. They would ask me questions, and we'd meet every week on Zoom, and that felt a little better. But in 2022, I got involved in a mastermind group for the first time. Cool. And had a mixed experience, but I took a lot of amazing insights out of it, and I grew some really valuable relationships. So I decided at that point, like, hey, I got at that point 12, 14 years of digital marketing experience. I've got this podcast guesting thing dialed in. I've been helping people for a while with that. What if I married these two things and I made it like a 90-day immersive mastermind experience where someone could come in and they could be in a small group together in a much more transformational format than just one-on-one coaching or even small group coaching. Yeah. So that is where I discovered both the gift for this, I guess you could call it, the natural ability and witnessing the transformation. So I kind of took a jump, took a leap, seven-figure leap in September 2022. And I committed to running a group as a mastermind for the first time, invited some people into this experience. And by like the second Zoom call, I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. So I felt super enthralled with it and energized by it. And people were starting to have like really rapid results. So I think the first thing we had to answer that question, how do we provide clarity and connection? The main way is curating a really powerful group of people that come from different backgrounds and then facilitating an experience of like safety and transparency and vulnerability where they help each other just as much or more than I help them. Like that's the real key. Is it's not the Dustin show. I've got the container and the system and the vehicle again for us to kind of drive together, but letting the people bond with each other and help each other has really become the secret sauce. And I think we've done 12 cohorts at this point. So we've done this a lot. And that is, as we've scaled our business, one of the things we've adhered to is we got to keep that small group experience because that is really our secret sauce, I feel like.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's cool. You're bringing so many people together to work on this together and to share their experiences, all while you're facilitating and making sure that they're getting the results they're looking for.
Yeah, so that's kind of the key thing. Of course, there's specific frameworks and exercises and things that we get clarity on different parts of their business. And then there's that group input and individual input. And I'm happy to open a kimono to any of that stuff, but the connection part, I think, is something that I initially saw connection within a group. Okay, there's 12 entrepreneurs, there's a health coach, an email marketing expert, an executive consultant, these people from all different walks of life. And if you can create the right environment and get the right types of people in there, that connection is really powerful. Now, after doing this for 2.5 years, I've got almost 150 alumni, and we've made a real effort to make sure all those alumni stay engaged in a community. Yeah. So now when you come into our world, you're in your own container of the 12 to 15 entrepreneurs, but you're also in this larger container of 150. And I got a mastermind group I run that's in there too. Mm-hmm. So connection has become a whole new, it's probably like our top value proposition to our clients is like, you're going to be part of this network of people, not just the one group. And so that's evolved a lot. But currently that's probably, that's my big focus right now is enhancing that part of our experience the most. So anyway, hopefully that answers a little bit like clarity and connection. We could definitely talk for a few hours about that, but that's that gives you a kind of a high level overview of logistically how we pull this off. So.
I love it, man. I love it. It's super. I know when we talked to in the pre-show, what we do, and a very similar methodology, which is give people a baseline, which is that 3-day solo retreat, and then they get absorbed into that mastermind. And again, we do the same thing you do, create a very safe and vulnerable space that they can work through, and we help them find clarity through that. So, but the mastermind model is so cool. I mean, like you said, you learn maybe more from your peers than you do the actual facilitator. And when people can open up, that's the best. That's where the power is at.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's I've been part of some groups, and I've been part of good, bad, and ugly sort of experiences. And I think if people are thinking about that, if you're going to be the one forming a group, I think your number one job is curator. It takes one kind of rotten, apple to spoil the bunch, to use the cliche. That's true though. If someone comes in and they're self-centered or they're egotistical or they're, insulting people or whatever, like that can ruin the vibe real quick. We charge a premium to be in it. That's sort of the first bar. And then we also talk, me or someone on my team is effectively it's a two-way interview, right? Like, are you really going to be a good fit, and are we going to be a good fit? We have an ROI guarantee and stuff, so there's a lot of reasons for us to do that. But one of the primary reasons is to make sure you're a fit for this group. Right. The other thing we do, because ours is a business growth group, it's important to me that there's not competition within the group. So if you're the fulfillment coach, there's only going to be one fulfillment coach, right? We're not going to have people in there that would feel competitive. We'll have collaborative people with different skill sets. And what ends up happening is a lot of people become referral partners or even clients of each other because they get to know and trust each other, and they don't compete. They're collaborators. So it's just a few things kind of come to mind on how to curate an experience like that if your audience was curious.
Beautiful. I got one last kind of question before we start wrapping things up. What is the biggest pain points that you're finding these coaches are coming to you for, and what is the outcome that they're ultimately getting when they go through the mastermind?
Yeah. So kind of what I open with, what they think is the pain point. The thing they're actually coming to me for is usually I'm really good at what I do, but I'm not good at marketing. And then the second part of that is, therefore, I'm dependent on referrals, right? And so I got a successful business. I know I'm good at what I do. I'm a good coach. I have a good offer, but I have like 1 or 2 or 3 referral partners. And if they don't like me tomorrow or they get hit by a bus, like, I don't have a business. And so what people really want is that sort of repeatable lead generation strategy. And that's where the podcast guesting comes in. So I think that's like the key promise is a revenue lead-based promise. However, when people get in and they're like, cool, that's what I want. And then we're like, okay, well, this is what you need to do. Then that's when the more internal stuff comes up, right? The imposter syndrome, limiting beliefs, this lack of clarity is like apparent. Like, every single person comes in, and even if they have a great offer and multiple 6-figure business, like there's still something that they're not actually clear on. And a lot of times it's getting clear on what they actually want. Sometimes it's re-engineering their offer to actually fit their goals and their lifestyle. Sometimes they don't have very good clarity on who they really like to serve, and we have to go back and help them unpack who does give them fulfillment, what is their unique ability. So some of these are kind of deep questions, but that's where we start. So, and we tell people that it's kind of like, hey, yay, podcast guesting, we're going to do that starting in like 2 weeks, but right now we're going to like break you open and put you back together again so you can understand how you actually transform people's lives. And that's going to give you the words that are then going to let you find the right shows. And, so we'll get to the marketing tactics. But yeah, so it's kind of a loaded question. That's why I give you a long answer, because it's not only what they think they want, but it's what they really want and need. And so we kind of approach both. I'm not sure how we would do that outside of the format that we're working in with this mastermind group. So
I love that. I absolutely love the approach you're doing, because that is that early conversation. The first few weeks is missing with most companies that are saying, hey, let me help you with lead generation. Mm-hmm. They just go straight into, let's throw it into the machine, because you're just like every other client, which is so far from the truth, because everyone's so unique and their offer is so unique and who they are is so unique. So that's so cool, man.
Well, thank you. Well, on the other side of that too is you can, this is my own experience as someone who's done marketing for 15 years. I can also go promise clarity and connection, and no one wants to buy it, right? That's the problem. Like, no one thinks they need it. But once they start to feel it and they experience it, they're like, oh my gosh, like, this has unlocked everything. I'm so, jazzed. But what they're shopping for is leads. They want more revenue. And so I think one thing one of the reasons I love what you guys provide is you have a unique mechanism. So you're not just saying like, find fulfillment. Like, that's hard for someone to know they need, but you're like, what would it feel like to go away for 3 days on a solo retreat? And, like, to me, and that's really intriguing. And so like my unique mechanism is podcast guesting. Yeah. I could say lead generation of all kinds of types, right? But like podcast guesting is curiosity inducing. People know what it means, but they don't really know how to do it. And therefore it has provided a good hook to get people in and give them the transformation they really need, which is all this clarity and connection work. So
love it.
Beautiful, man.
So before we wrap it up, if there was one thing you could leave our audience with, maybe something they could think on, or maybe an actionable tip, what would that be?
Yeah, so this is too broad of a question probably to leave unconstrained. So I would say, hey, if you're an entrepreneur and you're thinking about your business, and maybe you're listening to this, you're listening to this at some point in some year, but right now, we're kind of looking towards 2025. getting really real to journal about what you really want. And that is like a really hard question. It's like the question, in my opinion. And when people start to get clear on what they really want from their business, what they want to give to their business, who they really want to serve, how they want to show up, what kind of team they want, do they want, all those sort of things, these layers that start to come with being an entrepreneur. You don't have to go so deep, but, at a very, very bare minimum, be able to journal on like, who do you want to serve and what transformation you want to provide them? And it will give you so much more clarity about what you're actually doing with your business. And at least in my experience, it'll give you so much enthusiasm and momentum. So that would be my big thing is getting honest and clear about like what you want, specifically who you want to serve and what transformation you want to provide in their life.
Love that.
Gold, man.
Yeah.
It's freaking gold.
Definitely something we encourage as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And Dustin, if someone wanted to get connected with you, they wanted to learn more about your business, where can they go?
Yeah, real easy. 7-Figure Leap. So it's LEAP, 7figureleap.com. You go there. There's a lot. We have great free resources, of course, and you can book a call with me or someone on our team. We are very soft sellers, as you can kind of hear. The way our process works, it's really got to be a two-way fit. So we love to have calls with people, strategize on their marketing, and if we can be a great fit, if not, great, and if not, I've got a ton of great people I can refer folks to give them the right help. So 7figureleap.com if you're wanting some marketing help. That's what we love to do.
Amazing.
Dustin, it was a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for the conversation. Definitely look forward to obviously continuing this and hopefully do another combo maybe next year on the podcast.
Yeah.
A lot more to unfold.
Sounds good, guys. Well, Eli, Kyle, I appreciate you very much. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for the opportunity to be here and share a little bit about what we do.
Absolutely, man. We'll talk soon.
Love it.
That was awesome.
There's
what I think the coolest thing about that was is we speak on very similar things, but he has a different avenue that he's taking, right? Like these people are wanting to do podcasting.
Yeah.
But like he's still addressing the deep needs that people need to address, but it's through a different avenue. Like that is so cool. I've never heard of a business that's doing that. They just kind of using that's cool. Dustin's man. Thank you so much for joining us on the Peak Podcast. If you want to listen to awesome guests and awesome episodes just like this with just Dustin, definitely make sure to subscribe. And we can't wait to have you along on the next Peak Podcast episode.
See you guys.